Compared to the startup segment for not-for-profit, the not-for-profit smaller businesses are going to have very different needs from the CRM perspective. So which are the top 10 not-for-profit CRM systems for small businesses in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I'm principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent CRM, ERP, as well as a digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients with digital transformation strategy, CRM selection, implementation, and change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 non-profit small business CRMs in 2024. Before we look at the list, let's define how do we define the not-for-profit small business segment. So in general, in this particular case, they are going to have roughly 20 to 100 employees. The startup segment is below that, which means they are not going to have any implementation budget. In general, they are trying to implement in the DIY mode. For a small business, they might have a little bit of budget. In general, they are going to require some more capabilities overall from the consolidation perspective. They might be integrating some of the data silos that may exist in the startup segment. But still, they are still going to have a lot more silos compared to the other market segments, which are going to be your mid-market and large. So they are going to have the integration requirements, at least for the upstream marketing. Not all of the channels might be integrated, but they will require some integration there. And then the data sets are still going to be very disconnected, and they might have many different business models as part of this. So all of the business models that are going to be part of your not-for-profit segment, such as your associations, education, healthcare, charities, religious orgs, all of those are captured as part of this in this particular market segment. The criteria that we utilize to capture these lists is the product share, the acquisition strategy focused on the small business segment, and if they are acquiring a lot of capabilities, if they are developing a lot of capabilities aligned with the small business segment, then they generally rank higher on our list. Then we look at product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology, strategy. So all of these factors we include to compile this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Kila. And Kila is a very prescriptive system, and generally the prescriptive systems are going to have the specific attributes that you are going to notice across all of these prescriptive systems. And the example of any of the prescriptive systems, and some of those are going to be on this list as well. They are going to be your DonorPerfect, Classy, Bloomerang, Virtuous. All of these systems fall under prescriptive category. They are going to have very tailored workflows for the not-for-profit, but their data model is going to be limited to the specific capabilities of a very particular business model. And if you are going to have a little diversity in your business model, that's when you are going to probably require slightly more generalized CRM. These CRMs might not be the best. In general, with the prescriptive category, you are going to find the customer service is going to be really good. They are going to be easy to implement, easy to use. In general, they are probably going to be really cost effective. But at the same time, due to their design, you are going to run into some of the limitations, such as your data integrity issues. Just because the model is flattened, it is simpler to implement, simpler to use. And that's why you have to enforce the data integrity manually. So these are the limitations that you are going to see with the majority of the prescriptive categories. So the strengths that we have from Kila's perspective is, number one, the customer service is really good. And again, this is very consistent with any of the prescriptive systems that you are going to find. In general, systems such as Kila, they are geared more towards startup. They are not as great for the smaller not-for-profit, because when you are going to be slightly bigger in size, then you are going to require a lot of those capabilities, the operational capabilities. You are going to get a lot more donors that are going to be slightly more complex compared to what you are going to have in your startup segment, and you might not be able to capture those. You might have to take workarounds to be able to capture those complex customer profiles. So those are going to be some of the limitations that you need. In general, the strengths that you're looking at from Kila's perspective is the communication and interaction is going to be great, and then it is going to be cost effective, easier to learn and implement. Again, these strengths are very consistent with any of the prescriptive systems that you are going to be looking at. The limitations that you're looking at is the mobile app is not as great, data integrity issues, again, very consistent with any of the prescriptive systems or the categories. And then it's not going to be as great fit if you are going to have very diverse not-for-profit. For example, let's say if you are a not-for-profit, you are doing a little bit of healthcare, but then you are doing the fundraising as well. For those not-for-profit, this might not be the best fit, because in this particular case, you are going to find the donor management capabilities. Maybe you might be able to find the volunteer management capabilities, the membership, but that is probably the extent of the functionality that you're going to find. You will not find other business models, for example, healthcare or education, construction, real estate. All of these business models might be part of some of the not-for-profit, and if you have those flavors, then you have to take work around these capabilities. You are not going to find with the majority of the prescriptive not-for-profit systems. So that's number 10. Now, number 9 on our list is DonorPerfect. And DonorPerfect, it is great for a smaller not-for-profit seeking a donor management platform. So the strengths are again going to be very consistent with what we saw with Kila. That is going to be your cost, ease of use, and implementation. And they are going to have much richer donor capabilities compared to several other systems on this list. The limitations that you're looking at from the DonorPerfect perspective is, again, data integrity. Some of the things such as your mass updates, best transaction at this level, you would probably require those capabilities, but DonorPerfect is probably going to be limited with those capabilities. Then again, this is also not great fit for any of the diverse not-for-profit organizations implementing Customer 360. If you're looking for that centralized view of the customer, this might not be the best fit, especially if your departments or the customer channels are going to be slightly more diverse. So that's number 9. Now, number 8 on our list is Classy. And Classy is great for smaller not-for-profits seeking interaction management platform. And the strengths that you're looking at from Classy perspective is it is integrated with Salesforce, so slightly bigger system compared to the other systems that we have on this list. So this is probably going to be slightly better fit for your small business segment, because at this point of time, you are going to have the implementation budget, but at the same time, you are probably going to have the complexity, much more complexity than your startup segment. The support, is very consistent with the any other prescriptive systems, and then you're going to have the donor management and tracking. These capabilities are going to be far richer with Classy. The limitations that you're looking at from the Classy's perspective is the customizability of the landing pages, which might not be as easy and not great for diverse not-for-profit. Again, since this is a very prescriptive system, so you are going to run into that challenge, and then it's not going to be as comprehensive as some of the other generalized systems, or the capabilities are not going to be as richer from the not-for-profit perspective. So that's number 8. And number 7 is Glueup. And this is great fit for smaller not-for-profits seeking omni-channel communication capabilities. The strengths that we are looking at from Glueup perspective is, again, the customer support, omni-channel management for associations. So they are going to have far richer capabilities for associations. And then the interface is modern compared to the other systems. They are slightly more legacy. They are not going to have as deep cloud-native capabilities, especially if you care for enterprise search, mobility, etc. The newer systems are going to be slightly superior. So that's where your Glueup is going to be slightly better, even though they might not have as rich capabilities, but they are going to have richer user experience as well as the better technology. The limitations that you're looking at from Glueup perspective is data integrity issues like duplication in context. Again, that is very consistent with any of the prescriptive systems and not great for diverse not-for-profits implementing customer 360. So if you are trying to consolidate all of those channels, you might run into limitations there. And then some users have reported some of the technical issues as well. So that's number 7. Number 6 on our list is Zoho CRM. And Zoho is not going to be part of that prescriptive category. It's going to be slightly more generalized vanilla system. So this is going to be better for the diverse business model. If you have many different business models as part of your not-for-profit and you are trying to accommodate all of those, in those cases, Zoho CRM is going to be a better fit. But then you are looking at much higher implementation fee. And the reason for that is because you need to enable all of those business objects that are going to be pre-built, pre-tested with the prescriptive category. In this particular case, you have to build all of those capabilities. So much higher implementation budget, much higher configuration budget, much higher development budget as well at times. Even though Zoho is going to be far more affordable from the licensing perspective, and there the capabilities that you have with Zoho CRM are fairly rich, especially given the needs of the startup, the small business segment. So the strengths that you're looking at from the Zoho CRM perspective is detailed trigger on custom objects. And these triggers are going to be especially friendly when you are going to have very custom functionality that you are trying to build. And especially with not-for-profit, you are probably going to require this. Otherwise, you are going to run into issues. And some of the even bigger systems, such as, for example, let's say we go for HubSpot, they are not going to have as detailed triggers on the custom object. So that's where Zoho is really good, from the customizability perspective. So that's going to be a strength for them. And then you have a lot more other enterprise apps that are going to be part of the same bundle that they are able to offer. So you are going to have the project management, you are going to have the core CRM, you are going to have marketing automation, you are also going to have the accounting, etc. if you are trying to combine all of that. But keep in mind that each of the app that they have in their portfolio has its own database, and because of that, they are not going to be as tightly embedded in terms of their capabilities as it would be for a system that is going to have the centralized data model, the centralized database. So you might be able to build some of the flows to be able to send some data between these apps, but for the most part, the communication is going to be limited. But at this stage, this might be okay, just because if you combine all of those data model as well as the databases, then the complexity increases of the system, and then you have to have much higher implementation budget. So for startups, this is a great fit, even though you are going to get some challenges with communication among those apps. And then the other strength that you're looking at from Zoho perspective is highly customizable for diverse organizations. And that is going to be for organizations, let's say, if you are healthcare as well as education, and then you have some of the not-for-profit layers as well. And for those organizations, this could be a great fit. If you do a little bit of construction, real estate, etc., all of those customer-centric workflows, you can easily accommodate different customer personas, journeys, etc. That's where Zoho CRM is going to be a great fit. So the limitations that we are looking at from Zoho CRM perspective is data model is completely separate for each app. That is the point we have already discussed. And then CMS not as robust as your HubSpot. So with HubSpot, you are going to find CMS through which you can build the website, and then you can have for richer traceability overall from the omni-channel traceability perspective. Zoho CRM's capabilities are not going to be as rich there. And then expensive consulting to enable not-for-profit objects and workflows. So that is the limitation that you're looking at, and that's number 6. Now, number 5 on our list is Bonterra. And Bonterra is part of that prescriptive category, but they are going to have far richer capabilities overall as part of their suite. They are also backed by the private equity compared to the other systems that we have reviewed. They might not be as well funded financially. Each of these systems might get acquired, but these smaller systems are likely to get acquired more in general, because these bigger companies and bigger investors are trying to seek the market share. So that is something you need to keep in mind. In general, when you deal with any of these systems that are going to be private equity backed, etc., they are not going to have as great support. But with Bonterra, at least you have slightly superior support, at least as of today. And the other strength that you're looking at from the Bonterra perspective is it is easy to use and implement, just because this is a very prescriptive model. And then you have the omni-channel communication, including text. So you are looking at far richer, comprehensive capability, combining all of the channels, including your email, website, as well as text. So you can get the omni-channel traceability. But again, the capabilities that they are going to have might not be as comprehensive as some of the other bigger systems, but this is going to be okay for your smaller segment. The limitations that you are looking at from Bonterra perspective is that is not going to be great for the diverse not-for-profit. Again, if you are a pure play not-for-profit where you're looking for donor management, membership, etc., then it is going to be a great fit, but not necessarily for the other business models, such as you have real estate flavors or construction flavors, education, healthcare. All of those flavors, you might struggle with this system. If you have that, then you might want to go for something like Zoho CRM. The complex customer hierarchies, and that is going to be a limitation as well. In general, this is designed for very simpler business models where you are not going to have very complex funders and donors, because at this stage, the majority of the companies are probably not going to have access to that. And then they also have per transaction charges. So that is the limitation that you need to keep in mind. And that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Virtuous, and Virtuous is slightly bigger system compared to the other ones. So because of that, you are probably going to get the price tag as well, just because they are charging for that. But the strengths that you are looking at from the Virtuous perspective is you are going to find the best of breed capabilities for not-for-profit. They also have slightly more mature capabilities, for example, automation journeys. But these automation journeys might not be comparable with, for example, systems such as HubSpot. But then you are also looking at much higher implementation budget. So that's why systems such as HubSpot might not be as great fit for not-for-profit in this particular segment. Once they outgrow this, then probably in the next segment, they might be slightly better fit. So you are going to find the automation journey, but these automation journeys might not have as many triggers built as part of your core objects. They might not have as many triggers as part of your custom object. So that's where you are going to get a lot of limitations from the automation journeys perspective, but at least they have that. A lot of other systems on this list are probably not going to have that. And they also have the integrated payment processing. And with integrated payment processing, even though you don't have to pay for the implementation as well as the integration, but then they are tight coupling you for their payment provider. And because of that, they are probably going to charge the percentage fee as well. So you lose a little bit there, but then you need to do ROI analysis in terms of if they are getting you a friendly rate and how likely are those rates to change in the future. Let's say you sign the contract and tomorrow if they change the rate, then you might run into challenges there. So the other limitation that we are looking at from the Virtuous perspective is not great for diverse non-profits implementing customer 360. So if you are going to be very diverse, again, this is a very prescriptive system. So if you have pure play business model, then this is going to be a great fit. Otherwise, it might not be the best fit. The email templates are not going to be as user friendly, and the reporting is not going to be as intuitive either. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Neon CRM, and Neon CRM is ideal for a smaller not-for-profit, limited on implementation budget. So Neon CRM is part of that prescriptive category as well. So the other strengths that you're looking at from the Neon CRM perspective is it has built-in fundraising as well as the event registration. So overall, from the not-for-profit capabilities perspective, you are going to get far richer not-for-profit capabilities. But again, this is a very prescriptive system and not designed for the diverse use cases. You are also going to have the membership management, volunteer, scheduling. All of those capabilities are going to be bundled as part of the suite. The limitations that you're looking at is the reporting capabilities, the customizability, as well as it's not as diverse. So that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Blackboard. Razor's Edge Next, or the Blackboard CRM. So these are 2 completely different products that are bucketed under the same bucket for the most part in the smaller segment. the Razor's Edge system is probably going to be slightly more relevant for you because it is going to have the easier layers. In general, the implementation is going to be far cheaper. The licensing is going to be far cheaper as well. Blackboard may have the comprehensive capabilities, but the implementation is going to be higher. So depending upon where you are, how complex you are, you need to decide which system from their portfolio is going to be a better fit. But for the most part, you might want to go for the Razor's Edge product. So this is going to be a full suite CRM for not-for-profit companies of different size. In general, so one advantage that you have with Blackboard is that you are going to find multiple systems as part of the same portfolio from the same vendor. So if you outgrow, for example, Razor's Edge, then you have the next CRM that you can jump to. So that's a huge advantage in going for vendors such as your Blackboard. And Blackboard, compared to several other systems on this list, are one of the most known vendor in the not-for-profit space. They have a lot more logos. In general, they are very well adopted. They are very well known. So that is the assurance that you're getting, that they are probably not going to get acquired. And even if they get acquired, they are going to have a lot more control in their business model in general. But overall, since Blackboard is a much bigger company, you are going to find issues with their support. They are not going to provide as much hand holding that you can get with some of the other systems on this list. So other strengths that you're looking at from Blackboard's Razor's Edge perspective is it is the complete suite for not-for-profit. And not-for-profit capabilities are going to be pre-baked, tested, pre-configured. So that's a huge plus for this system. Then they also have integration with Microsoft Power Platform. And so along with the transactional capabilities that you are going to get with the system and the suite capabilities that you are going to get with the system, you also have the Microsoft Power Platform capabilities. So you can design your custom apps. You can design the workflow automation centric flows that you might need for a lot of different segments of the not-for-profit. So that's a huge plus for them. The limitations that you're looking at from Blackboard's perspective is not great for diverse not-for-profit implementing Customer 360, since they are taking very sweet, prescriptive-centric approach. They are providing you last-mile functionality, so it is not necessarily designed for the diverse organization. The technology and cloud-native features, in general, one of the challenges that you are going to experience with them is that they were a very legacy vendor. They were very popular, very well known, but now they are catching up in the cloud. So the cloud version is going to be far weaker in general. And you are not going to have all of those capabilities such as your enterprise search, especially if you're looking at the desktop version, which is going to have far richer capabilities. So you need to compare the capabilities in both of the versions and see if the cloud version is going to be enough. If that is not enough, then you need to make the compromises in terms of the technology. One thing that you might want to note is pay attention to which screens you are looking at and whether you are looking at the right product, because what you might experience is that they are probably going to show the cloud version, but then you might end up getting the on-prem version, and the experience might not be as great. Once you start using it, you are going to find a lot of surprises. So that is something that you need to either work with somebody who knows how to compare the differences in technology, who can coach you. You need to be very careful during the demos and evaluating this particular system. So that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is Kindful or Bloomerang. And again, this is a very prescriptive system designed for smaller not-for-profit. They have a lot more logos, adoption in general, and that's why they rank slightly higher on this list. Again, this is a very prescriptive system, so it's going to be easy to use, easy to implement. You can implement in very small budget, and that's why they are a better fit for the smaller segment. And then the not-for-profit capabilities are going to be pre-baked that you are not going to find with the other generalized systems such as your Zoho, HubSpot, Salesforce, etc. The limitations that you are looking at from Kindful or Bloomerang, and again, Kindful, Bloomerang, these two are two different products. Bloomerang acquired Kindful, and now they have rolled it as part of their portfolio. So when you're looking at them, you need to look at, okay, which product you are looking at. And if you're buying both of them, just one of them, so you need to pay attention to your licensing as well. The limitations that you're going to run into with this product is the data integrity, not necessarily designed for the diverse organization. It's a very prescriptive suite or pure play not for profit. So if you are going to have flavors of the other industries as part of your business model, then this might not be the best fit. You need to go for slightly more generalized systems such as your Zoho, HubSpot, Salesforce, etc. And then they also have launched the Bloomerang payments. So again, this is a very Shopify centric business model where they are charging per transaction. Sometimes that could be very expensive. You might not have as much leverage in terms of negotiating your rates. So make sure you pay attention to how much you are paying for that. And then they are also going to have percentage fee per donation. So they are going to have a lot more layers. And sometimes it becomes very difficult to estimate the overall cost of ownership with these systems. But having said that, Bloomerang is still a very strong system for a smaller not-for-profit. So that's number one. If you enjoyed this video, we are going to include a link of an article that is going to have much deeper insights. So you might want to check that. This podcast is available in the audio form on major podcasting platforms. So you might want to check there and subscribe. We publish these videos on a weekly basis. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you might want to do that. We publish our digital transformation report. We are going to link that as well. So check that out. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.